Hi there, folks. My name's NoVoid24, and welcome once again to the Three Grumpy Simmers. So we are here for. Okay, we try to be grumpy. We try to be grumpy, but apparently, when we're sleep deprived, we are not always grumpy. Anyway, so of course, once again, I am joined by my fellow Three Grumpy Simmers. I am joined by Sérgio from Helisimmer.com.
Hey everyone.
Who is of course asking everybody and everybody who will answer will listen, and even those who won't, does it have helipads? Um, and of course, next to him we have our most famous blue moon drinking, purple hat wearing, armor expert aficionado. No, okay, sorry, he's not drinking blue moon tonight.
This is Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. There's a story behind this. I started drinking this when I was playing bass for, get this, a psychedelic tribal jazz band. We called ourselves Jared's Door, like going through the doors of perception. Basically, it just meant we did a lot of drugs and played jam music. And this was our beer of choice. So I'm like, yeah, why not?
So that's BelGeode, by the way. And of course, this product is not sponsored in any way by Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
No, no.
So folks, welcome to the next episode of the Three Grumpy Simmers, and we're taking a break from, as you said, we are being a little lighthearted in this episode because we feel that sometimes our community can get a little dark. Particularly with particularly with its commentary of potential new and upcoming Sims. Sim.
Oh,
Sorry.
Lord.
So we've decided that instead we want to go to something a bit brighter this month, because we really, one of the things that we really love, and again, part of why we all started this is that we always want to highlight the good things that make about our community, the things that make us a community. And one of the most important things about that is when we as a community come together to produce like amazing content. Now, of course, I'm very blessed to be able to work with these two fine gentlemen who work really hard for our community. We've got Sergio, who is making sure that everything that comes out has helipads, but also wants to actually, you know, but actually, and Sergio, I'll be honest here and say you have been absolutely instrumental in actually having developers like sit up and take notice and actually pay attention to helicopters and actually pay them any kind of interest. The fact that we've seen with the new X-Plane update, some improvements with helicopter physics. The fact that there are helicopter physics at all in there is great. And DCS and all the other developers that are bringing on board that as well. And of course, Drew, the work that you do both within the flight sim community, the DCS community, especially the VR community, with actually providing on, reviews and actually giving information to people on how to do stuff. Like, y'all don't get paid for this. We all do this because
Not
of the
at
love
all.
we have.
Not at all. I'm not sponsored by Oculus. I am not sponsored by anybody. The only reason why I do this is because there wasn't anybody to do it for me. And I always firmly believe in paying it forward. So if you want to learn XYZ, whatever having to do with VR,
Yep,
yeah, I'm more than happy to help.
exactly. So we all sort of in our way, we all sort of work towards do some of the great things for our community, and we've all worked with some great content producers over the years. And we've highlighted in the past some of the great freeware developers for all three of the major platforms. Wait, three major platforms? Two major platforms? Two major platforms? I think we only
Well,
do.
are you
No, we
counting
do. We
are
do
you counting
Airfly.
DCS or are you counting FSX and P3D
Yeah,
separately?
it's a tough one, isn't it? Because the
Hmm.
freeware community for DCS, we haven't really delved into that too much, but we probably should do that in another episode. But anyway,
It's very thriving. It is very
which
thriving.
is great to see considering how locked down everything is. But anyway, we digress. So one of the things that we want to highlight about this week is two recent projects that have come to our attention, and we really want to sort of highlight some of the beautiful things when members of the community when the community comes together to produce great content. And the first one is one that Sergio pointed out to both Drew and myself, which is Project Helix. I think that's right. Is that Sergio?
Yeah, it's Helix Collective.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Helix Collective. So my apologies. Helix
Yeah.
Collective. Um, which is a wonderful play on words. But I'm going to hand over to you, Sergio, to sort of talk about that one.
Yeah, well, the Helix Collective is actually a team of people from the Helisimmer, from the helicopter flight simulation community, and BelGeode, Drew here, is kind of the guy to blame for this to happen. 'Cause
All I
it all started.
said is you needed a catchy name. That's all I said.
Nah, you need more than that. You need more than that. There was this guy in our group, Sebastian, that posted about not having enough coaxial helicopters in our sims,
Hmm.
and I agreed, and Drew just told him to do it himself, and all of a sudden I've been wanting a game of 32 for some time now, for a few years, and there's one for FSX, but there's none for Explain. So it's something that Explain being my main theme, it was something that I wanted for some time, and with Drew giving Sebastian that drive, and Sebastian having the will to do something. And the thing is, Sebastian works with modeling. He does 3D model. I started talking to him, and this group, just started to happen. I'm going to do a bit of a spoiler here because the team is not out there. But actually, I know who the team is because I assembled the team. Actually, I was the
So,
guy
wait. So
nagging
you're like
every
the
team.
puppet master at the back, like pulling the strings,
Hmm.
creating this come
Yeah,
off.
Um,
he's blaming me for it. Meanwhile, he's the guy who's
I
kinda.
like,
knew there was a reason
I'm
why
giving you
3D.
your marching orders. Please.
Well, kinda. No, actually, Drew, it was you that drive this forward, and told
Listen,
Sebastian to
all I
do it.
said when the guy mentioned that he does 3D modeling and he had a Kamov K32, I was like, I would fly the hell out of that. And he was like, well, do you know any developers who would be interested in doing it? And I'm like, dude, this is Explain. You can do it yourself. In fact, I bet if you posted here that you were going to make something of it, everybody would crawl out of the woodwork to help you out with it. Was I
Yeah,
right?
yeah. That actually happened, and I started talking to some people. So we'll tell about the team very soon. But the thing is, a lot of the guys were interested, and a lot of the guys jumped at this project, at the possibility of doing something very cool and different for the community. This
Have
is a
you
freeware
seen the
project.
KA-32? Like, it looks like a squashed
Yeah,
bug. It's awesome. I love it.
It's the VW hippie bus of helicopters.
Yes. Oh my god,
it
it
is.
totally is. It literally, you
It
get a
is.
V dub and you
Yeah,
put a coaxial rotor on the top.
Two little rotors on the top.
and
Yep. All
and
you're
yet
missing now
again,
is some Jimi Hendrix
I'm
Drew, you have
and Sierra
plenty.
Nevada.
I am totally okay. So
Now,
I'm totally gonna say when that
let me
paint kit
tell.
gets
Let me
released,
tell this.
when that
Let me.
paint gets released, I am totally doing V dub one. Anyway, sorry, continue.
I'm. I'm going to tell you something, Drew.
Hmm.
You have no idea what happens every time you open your mouth. And once you said that
Oh, I know.
about I've seen it. I've seen the project already. Okay, so there's something coming for you. That's really.
I know.
Yeah, well,
I know.
one of the repainters. Yeah, okay, never mind. Something is coming for
Listen,
sure,
I said what I said. I
and
didn't
it's
say
going to
anything
happen.
lightly. If I put it out there online, if I put it out there to the general public, I do
Yeah.
kind of
So,
expect somebody to listen. So,
well,
yeah,
somebody listen. Somebody listen. Trust
surprise
me.
me.
Somebody listen.
Surprise me and entertain me.
Yeah, somebody listen. But yes, this is a freeware project. With a group of people from the community, some big names from the community, some guys that really know what they're doing. If Projects can go wrong, and this one can go wrong as well. Things can go south, and for some reason it may not be released. But I'm going to tell you honestly, when this comes out, and I hope it does, I do believe this is going to be payware quality because the guys that we have involved from the community are hardcore guys that really
Mhm.
know what they're doing,
Mm.
and the team will be presented soon. Probably we're going to probably present member by member. Every couple of days or so. The website is going to be up in a few days, and then we're going to start and present the team, and you're going to recognize the guys that are in the team, and they're doing this for free. They're doing this pro bono. They do this for the community. It's a community project. Although
Mhm.
there's someone there's this kind of close team of guys working together. It's something by the community for the community that just appeared out of the blue, and now we have a project going on, and you have seen the screenshots for the model already. Sebastian did that modeling in 2 or 3 weeks. He's not working full time on this, but the whole model was done by him. It's not a model that we have acquired or purchased or something. He did it from scratch by himself, and we already have a great quality model. So
And
that's
let me just interject here to say, for the viewers watching, this is an X-Plane project. But
yeah.
with that having been said, Sergio, the question I have for you, the guys that are actually coming up with this, of course, we now have 11.40 beta available.
Mhm.
Are they using that as a resource to kind of, I guess, not really future proof it per se, but to get one step ahead of the game so that once this thing is released, it'll be good to go in 4.0?
Well, here's the thing. These projects take a long time to develop. Um, this is not going to be out before 11.40 for
Okay.
sure. So this is probably going to be released, quite some time after 11.40 is out. I have no idea when the project will be done, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was released even after Vulcan was out for Explain. So this is
Which we still don't
this
have a date on. We were told
yeah,
tentatively, possibly a
yeah.
beta by the end of this year, but no one really
The
knows.
thing, yeah, the thing is, 11.40 will come before the release of this project, and this project will be fully compatible with which whatever version or beta will have available at the time of release.
Cool.
So yeah, it will be future proof, with that regard.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. And it just amazes me that it takes the helicopter community to really showcase what it's like when a community comes together. I mean, think about over the years, some of the projects that we've seen with all the various sims, like the FSX, P3D throughout the years or whatnot. Have you really ever seen anything that's this dedicated so quickly? This
I
is
I
actually
haven't
pretty cool.
I haven't, and
I guess, and that's actually something that I noticed was the fact of how quickly it grew up from an idea. Like
Yeah.
I vaguely remember like half of like almost like a throwaway post, and then suddenly within a
Mm-hmm.
month, it's a month or less, it's ballooned into something where I've actually Sergio's telling me about. Oh yeah, there's this Healy's collector, and I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like because I said I really like the air. I like the helicopter. I think it's the most whacked out looking thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
it is. It is.
but it's
It is.
so damn cool.
Yeah, the thing is, of course, I've been doing this in Helisimmer for 3 years, so I know a lot of people in the industry already, in the teams and developers and people. So it was a matter of doing what I do and what Drew knows I do, which is nagging. I nag people. I just
Yeah.
I have
Professional nagger, right there.
yeah, I have no problem with just talking to someone and asking, hey, do you want to do this? Do you want to help here? But the thing is, these guys were there. Every single guy that I've talked to, I didn't
Yeah.
have to go, talk to a guy and then go with the plan B. Every single guy I talked about the project, I explained the project. I told them this is freeware. This is from the community. We're trying to do something for the community, by the community. Do you want in?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't. There was only one guy that wanted to think about it because he thought that we wanted to do this, full time kind of thing, trying to release it as soon as possible. And I told him that this is just this is something that we're doing on our spare time. So there are no pressures, anything like that. And then the guy told me that he would do it, but everyone jumped at the opportunity to do this, and uh,
Mm-hmm.
it was just I it put a huge smile on my face because these guys were here for the rest of the guys from the community, and for me that's just fantastic. And you were saying that this comes from the helicopter community, and I have to say the community, the helicopter flight simulation community, yeah, I'm probably a little biased, but you guys are
Not at all.
you guys are in the group, and you guys are in the group. You guys are in the group, and you know this. This is one of the strongest and more united community I've ever been part of. These guys are just amazing. They are just amazing, and this
There's a
collective
lot of
is
passion, yeah. There's a lot
there
of
is passion,
passion, there's a
yeah,
lot of professionalism, there's a lot of creativity
and
in
the
this
willing to
community.
help. Yeah, and the willing to help. They are all willing to help. Everyone in the community wants to help the other guy, and
And
that's
and that's a
yeah.
really big part that I think is sometimes and again, folks, is why we wanted to talk about this episode, why we want to do this episode this week, because we feel that sometimes with all the other stuff that goes on, that we lose the fact that we are all here in this hobby and this game together. We're all here together, and it is it only thrives when when we support each other and we grow with each other. So yeah, it's always great to see these opportunities, these examples of when people work together, and I definitely think that the speed with which this project came together is a great way to show when people will
Mm-hmm.
give up their free time to be able to do stuff. The other quick example that we wanted to give beyond the Helix Collective was more of an individual, but again, a great example of when um, others will come and support an individual who again puts that request out for help, much like what Drew sort of said when, oh yeah, I'd love to have a KF-32 out
Actually, actually, the
I'm
developer.
still waiting for my Tomcat for X-Plane, by the way.
I still
I'm
can't
just
believe
throwing that out
they've
there.
they've got the so sorry to digress from this one. They've modeled the Phoenix in X-Plane, and yet they don't have the Tomcat. Can someone explain that to me, please?
Well, here's the thing. Whenever you see the Phoenix, you'll never see the Tomcat because that bugger is going to be very far
He's
away
got a
from
point.
It,
He's
you,
got a
right.
point.
you're well and truly BVR. Yeah,
You'll never see it.
yeah.
You'll
Okay.
never see it. So whenever you see a Phoenix flying, coming your way, you're not going to see the airplane. That's
Yeah,
for
fair enough.
sure.
So,
That's for sure.
the other project is another, it's another helicopter. So helicopter fans, you're getting quite the expose this week. Um,
Mm-hmm.
when it's a cute little thing. I like this helicopter because it's nimble and it's been in so many TV shows. It's not funny. It's almost as ubiquitous as a Huey. And of course, it's the MD-500. Which I always see. I don't know, but I always thought that should have been the default helicopter in FSX, not
Yeah,
the
I agree with you.
206. Like, it's just,
I
I don't know,
agree with
the 206 is very, like, you see it a lot, but you see the MD-500 more.
Mhm.
So yeah, so tell us about this project.
Drew, you want to talk about this one because you're kind of
This one just goes way, way
yeah.
back. This was a long forgotten helicopter. Okay, so Brett Sumter. That's the name of the gentleman who originally came up with this model, and I think he came up with it for like X-Plane 8 or X-Plane 9. I want to say it might have been
Wow.
X-Plane 9.
I think it was
So
eight.
it's already
I think it was eight.
it's already ancient. We're talking about almost 10 years ago, basically.
Jesus.
And
You're right.
one of our guys in the group really took a liking to it because, of course, he can fly these things in real life, and he, has flown them in the past. So he figured out how to, basically upgrade it to X-Plane 11, so that it's got the basic
Funnily enough,
usage.
using the tools that come with X-Plane.
Right, nothing extra, just everything that's in your default X-Plane folder. So he starts posting like screenshots all over the helicopter group, and everybody's like, "Where'd you get the MD-500?" Even I said, "Where'd you get the MD-500?" Because the one year I did my Oshkosh air show, virtual air show, that was one of the first helicopters that I showed off, and of course that created more of a fracas. Where'd you find this thing? So fast forward to this year, and all of a sudden we've got a lot of the same players, by the way, that have been involved in a lot of the community get-togethers and the freeware bashing, like putting everything together. They're all coming together, and I'm next thing you know, I'm seeing full VR config files. Which, if you have VR, you have to have a VR config file. It's what tells X-Plane where you sit, how many seats are in there, if you have any outdoor positions, if you can do a walk around, and more importantly, every single switch and knob functionality is highlighted in the VR config. So you've got a guy coming up with that.
Mm.
You got a guy coming up with updated liveries. And bear in mind, Brett Sumter, he's pretty much washed his hands of this thing. He had gifted it to the community, and he's just like, okay, I'm done. You guys do what you want, just don't sell it. And
Fair enough.
all of this stuff starts coming in. It's just amazing to see it all come together. The interior of the thing has gotten a complete workaround. So all the gauges are fully 3D. There's like the glass and everything in front of it. If you want to, you could, you know, change around some of the avionics. You could have like different types of GPS systems in there. Rain effects are being worked on currently. It's just amazing. And again, it's that helicopter community that's come together like this. I kind of feel like when we all start flight simming, we start flight simming in, airliners or Cessnas or whatever. But when we grow up, we come to the helicopter community. Because I've never in my life seen a group of people like this. This is just incredible.
And this is a different way of developing the project. The Alex Collective is actually a team of guys that gather together in a kind of a formal way. Okay, so these are the guys develop, and the 500. And I think Brett actually started working on the 500 as well with Bradley, a guy from the group. I think he's working on it as well. But
Okay.
these guys are doing this, individually. So there's a guy adding rain effects. There's a guy
Mm-hmm.
doing the new interiors. There's a guy new systems. Joe Kiefer, which is the same guy that did the VR config files,
Mm-hmm.
and all of
Sim
the sudden,
VR Labs. That's his company. I
yeah,
gotta give a shout out to
yeah,
Sim VR
yeah.
Labs. If you got a VR aircraft and you need to get like the proper config.
Yeah, that's right. So these are guys doing, very small bits. When in case of Joe, he actually has done a very large bit because this
That's
guy
just Joe.
overhauled.
Joe just goes
Yeah,
overboard.
look, Joe overhauled the entire systems for the helicopter and things that the
Mm.
helicopter never had.
Mm.
It's now there. And it's just he released a new modification today with a lot of new things with the help of another guy from the community that helped them get through
Mm-hmm.
some problems and issues and help them do something that he didn't know how to do. So these guys are doing this individually. One releases one, the other. Yes, you have to kind of pick up the pieces and gather it all in the same place, but it's a different way for the community to come together and do something for the community. It's
Mm.
not
Yeah.
something formal.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a team working. Just a bunch of guys doing just because they wanted to do it, and it's it's incredible. It's just amazing.
And
It's
that's
like,
the most important point too that Sergio just hit on.
Mm.
It's a community.
Yeah.
yeah,
Unlike the other C word, competition.
Mm-hmm.
None of these guys are treating this as a competition. It's like a personal challenge for them. Can I make this
Yeah.
HSI gauge look better than I did before?
Yeah.
And when you're satisfied with it, you share it with the community. That is the
Yeah.
kind of stuff that I love to see.
And if you can't do it, if you cannot do it for some reason, you just ask someone, "Do you guys
Mm-hmm.
know how to do it?" And someone will jump in and help you, and he will finish it because that guy helped you, and you just release it
Yep.
to the community.
And
Just like
that sort of working together is really important, and that as Sergio just said, it's very interesting to see two very different ways of community coming together, but actually still producing an absolutely amazing result out of that. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
links and all that will be in the description down below. Just as we round out the episode, though, I do want to sort of circle back to the comment to the start with the DCS sort of community freeware community. I do actually recall that there is actually I do actually know of how awesome the freeware community is, because it's one of the few aircraft I've managed to fly in DCS in the last like 2 years. Was by Hoggett Dev.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And for those who may not know DCS, then that is the development team behind the Community A4E mod.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
is, and Drew, correct me if I'm wrong, but is the first and currently only complete ground up aircraft for free. Everything else out there borrows a cockpit or something from another aircraft already in the sim.
It is the first. I don't believe it is
may
now
not be
the
but
only.
yes,
There
it was the
is
first.
an
Yeah.
Italian aircraft. What is it? The MBB 3 something another. Unfortunately, name escapes me.
Okay.
But that one is very recent. It's a new player in the game.
Right.
But
Okay.
yeah, that's now
Um,
the second.
So yeah, I really want to highlight the A4E, because the scooter is just an awesome aircraft. Also, side note, okay, for DCS, sorry, for ESP players, we and pilots, we haven't forgotten about you. There is a new awesome payware out by Dino Cataneo that you should probably think about getting if you like the scooter. But in terms of freeware, this A4E by Hoggett Dev is just absolutely outstanding. I remember highlighting it on my release news show a couple of times. Both when it first came out and when some major mods of it came out. But that's another example of a big team. I think there's about a dozen in that team. And again, these are all industry professionals. These are all developers from all the major players in DCS and other sims. They're actually sort of working together and doing this all for free. And this is all part of a community getting together and working together. And they just wanted to pay, as Drew's highlighted before, it's about paying it forward. And so I guess really as we round out this episode, that's something that we want to highlight to everyone, that we are all only as strong as the community bonds that bind us together. And it sounds terribly like I don't know, like a terribly use of pop culture at the moment, but there's a meme that kicks around these days. Maybe not so much a meme, but the thing about, if the words that you spoke appeared on your skin, how would you feel? The same kind of goes for a community. And I'll be the first to admit that I'm guilty of maybe a couple of snide comments every now and again.
We're human. I mean, come on, we're human.
But yeah, but
sometimes you just have a day.
Usually something 8 hours while you leave your airplane and cruise while you sleep for 8 hours. Anyway, so the key point is,
or the ever popular, the more recent one. Oh my God! Microsoft is putting X-Plane into a panic. Do me a favor. When this is edited, please put up that meme I created of Austin Meyer saying, "You do know, I do what I want, right?"
And seriously, for anyone who is trying to buy into that whole X-Planes reacting to Microsoft nonsense, you need to go and watch the interviews with Austin Meyer, because you will very quickly realize that he gives zero fucks about anybody. Like, seriously, like, don't get me. See, this is, and sorry to digress completely away from here, but he is actually a prime example of when you are passionate about something and you believe in something with your entire being. You will make it a success. So Austin started 20 something years ago with this idea.
As a physics project.
As a college physics product, physics computing project of going, I want to make an accurate flight simulator. And literally just sat down with pencil and paper and started figuring it out. And quite honestly, the first 10 iterations were crap. However, the late end of 10 and into 11, he's produced something amazing. And he is a perfect example of, if you believe in something and if you support it and if you go after it day by day, you will get there. So, digression. Anyway, but go back.
It's important to note as well that all of the things that Austin creates, Austin will not go all out and, like, I don't expect to get my F-14 Tomcat from Austin, but I do expect all the background stuff, all the data refs, the plane maker and all of that. Austin's major philosophy is give the community the tools, and they will build it. And that circles right back around to what we were talking about, because everything that's being done here, a lot of it is inside X-Plane itself, and the rest of it might be, you know, like modeling programs that are imported into X-Plane. All default features. There's nothing outside you really need to do.
And that's a key part, and that's probably something for other sims out there that are coming. Microsoft. You need to make sure that this community, for all its warts and darker moments, this community is what has kept this genre alive and kicking when a not insignificant number of industry professionals have sentenced the flight simulation genre to death multiple times over the last 10 years.
Yep.
And yet here we are, still alive and kicking. So and you know, think about the tools that you get. Flight gear, I know that we don't talk about it a lot, and I know it has a lot of people have a fairly low opinion of it, but at the end of the day, flight gear is actually a great example of it gives the user all the tools to make an absolutely outstanding flight sim. It's not very user friendly, but if you're into it, the tools are there to give you that. X-Plane 11 is great because it has all the tools that you need built in order for you to create it. LM and Prepared has some of the tools. And that's probably its biggest letdown, and the only reason why it's so big in terms of development is because it's simply been around longer. It's been in a stable, it's been around longer in a stable format, because really fundamentally until Prepared v4 came out, fundamentally under the hood nothing had changed since 2005. So that's something that you give the community the tools they need. So, and again, the community, when it comes together, produces some amazing things. They produce the A4 for DCS. They produce they're producing the KA32 from Camov. They've produced the MD500. It's gone through a succession of developers over the years, and you know all the things that we see come from Manfred Yan and Milton Shoop for the ESP platform. So, folks, before you go out there and saying, especially, and again, part of this community message is, before you go around and we've all said this before on this show multiple times, before you say to, especially a newcomer, oh, you have to go out and buy all of PMDG's catalogue, all of Orbix's catalogue, or all of A2 and all of A2A's catalogue before we'll even talk to you. Talk to the hand otherwise.
That was good. That was good.
So instead, think about the team members, the people, the community members that those developers have actually built their skills on. They've built off the successes and the pioneering work done by freeware community developers such as Milton Shoop, such as Piglet, such as Manfred Yan,
Dino Cataneo.
like all these people. Like Dino coming out with releasing a free guide to everyone on how to make your model and make it easily compatible with the three major flight sims out of the box. He released that guide for free. So before you start
He's
saying,
also in the final stages of the S211 for X-Plane.
I'd heard that. So think about think about that, and think about, instead of telling people that you have to get all this expensive payware, that's quite frankly straight up, you're talking $2,000, $3,000. No. How about you let people know? How about they enjoy the base sim, figure out what sort of simmer they want to be, and then point them to some high quality freeware. So if they're into helicopters, point them to Sérgio's and the Helisimmer.com team, to point them to things like the MD500, point them to the Llama for X-Plane that's just come out. It's not accurate, but it's fun and it's good. Point them to Milton Shoot for anything with a turboprop on it. There is so many great developers out there. There is so much out there. So just think about the people that you got your experience on when you first started in flight simulation, and how we can grow our community and bring out and curate our community and give our community the most positive, set our community up for success, is a real thing I want to say. So I'm going to get off my. I'm going to get off my soapbox now.
Yeah. I would even make a bigger challenge. I would like to make it even a bigger challenge to the community, which is, don't just use what other guys did. Do it yourself. Learn the tools. Start doing something for the community. That's how flight simulation actually grew. And nowadays we have so many amazing free tools and so many amazing videos and tutorials and resources and people. Instead of going to a group and asking, where can I download the Zebo again? Just ask how can I make a fuselage using Blender, for example. Blender is free. It's a free software.
That's it, and that's it. Sorry to interrupt you, Sergio. So that was that was a big gateway blocker for a lot of people coming into flight sim development, was the fact that 3D modeling programs were astronomically expensive. Yeah, it was disgusting. Blender's changed all that. There are now Blender plugins for both X-Plane and ESP native exporting. So you can natively export out of Blender straight into a format that either the ESP platforms can read or the X-Plane can read. That's now native. Into
it's
Blender.
Free?
And it's free.
Blender? Yeah, is it good? Yes, it is good. Yes,
it's a little bit of a learning curve, but yeah, once you figure out what you're doing.
3D modeling, learning how to do 3D modeling has a huge learning curve in every software you use.
Blender. I'm still trying to make a sphere. Sorry. Anyway.
Yeah, it's hard. But Blender is free. It's an amazing piece of software. It's out there. There are tons of tutorials. Start doing something. Is it just a box with wings? It doesn't matter. It's your first project. Keep on it. More than using what other people did, do it yourself. We need more doers on the community. We need more people doing what a lot of guys were doing 5-10 years ago. I feel like although I'm seeing these projects in the helicopter flight simulation community, I feel like there's a gap right now, and we lack freeware developers. We need more freeware developers. These guys will probably evolve.
In particular, scenery too. Don't forget that part. In particular, scenery.
Yeah, everything.
I'm gonna actually throw a challenge out to anybody, and especially if you do not live in like the United States or Europe. So let's say you live in either South America or Asia, Caribbean, any of that kind of part of the world. The areas that we don't see enough of in flight sim, I want to fly there. If you build it, I promise you, I will showcase it on my channel
Um,
because I
I
love that kind of stuff.
I will agree. I will follow that on and make a commitment right here now on this channel. If anybody comes out with scenery that covers any part, especially of because I've got a very personal connection with the eastern parts of Africa. If you come up with any scenery for the eastern parts of Africa, I will give you #1 billing on my show, guaranteed. You'll get
Yeah.
a review on my channel, and
Mhm.
you'll get promoted everywhere on all my social media because it's a
I
part
will
of the
do the
world
same.
I love. I've actually spent quite a lot of time in Eastern and Central Africa many years ago, and I really love it, and I would love to fly there more often. And there is literally like no airports there. Like there's a few for South
I
Africa,
fly.
but that's it.
I fly helicopters. I land everywhere. Give me Africa. Give me whatever. But yeah, give me
So
Africa.
just remember,
I'll.
folks, when you make that scenery, you have to ask. You have to know that Sergio is going to ask you, does it have
Does
helipads?
it have helipads?
All right.
Yeah.
So we're going to get off our soapboxes now, but yeah, as Sergio said, we really want to encourage you guys be a community of doers and creators, not a community of naysayers and negatives.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's room for everyone. Just contribute to it.
yeah, be positive, and again, as I said, I'm going to circle back to that rather overused analogy, but you know, think about the words you say in the comments that you make. Think how they are affecting the community. So stop being a keyboard warrior for a second and actually think about the implications and what it means for our hobby and its future. So just gonna leave it at that. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox now. So thank you very much. We're gonna round the episode out with that now. Thank you very much for joining us in this fairly positive, great examples of when the Puke community come together for the greater good. So I'm gonna say thank you very much to Sergio from Helisimmer.com.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
And thank you very much to you for I think the Sierra Nevada has been put away, so we're not product. Oh no, there's the product placement. It is back again. Thank you very much to you, Drew BelGeode.
On that note, I'm going to represent my own meme. Alright, I'ma head out. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Oh dear God.
Oh my god.
Okay. All right,
Thank you, Drew. You just gave us a lot of material from memes. Thank you.
There's so many memes going to come out of this episode. All right.
Man.
Thanks very much. Of course, my name's been Novawing24. Thank you very much for joining. Don't forget, as always, to like the video if you enjoy these videos and want to see more. And, of course, you could always follow... don't forget to check out Sergio and the Helisimmer website and the Helisimmer YouTube channel. And don't forget to head over to BelGeode's channel to see all of the variety of sims that he showcases on a regular basis. And maybe stop in and maybe give my channel a like every now and again and see what nonsense I'm up to. Alright folks, thanks very much for joining. Don't forget, as always, that you can support the channel if you so desire by following us on Facebook, on Twitter. We have our website. We have the episode is also available on Podbean, or if you're listening to it on Podbean, it's also available on YouTube. And of course, you can support us and the work that we do on Patreon. All the details in the description down below. Alright folks, take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Ciao.